Hey guys, I'm Akash. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today, once again, we'll be discussing about how it's possible to get a job in Germany. So there are certain difficulties that usually people come across. They spend many months or they're trying to find a part-time or a full-time job, and they usually have certain difficulties. They're not able to find a job at any cost. So what are some of the problems that they undergo, and what is the reason that they actually might be undergoing certain problems? Is number one is that they're not German probably, and that might be one of the reason, because that's the first thing that comes into the list when people are trying to scrutinize what's important. And number two is that the lack of German language skills. So they go with non-national people, but when they go with a non-national people, it's important that the person has a really good German skill. So that's number one point. That is, you need to have really good German skills. So that's I'm talking about at B1 B2 level, or at least B2 to C1 level. So the important thing is that when you have B2 to C1 level of German skills, when it comes to at least oratory and writing skills, it's really easy to get a job. Otherwise, it becomes really hard to put yourself into a position where you can easily find a job. So that is the one of the most important point. Number two is that other than the German and English skills, we come to the point that the CV and the cover letter needs to be really as good and precise as possible. So when you're talking about good and precise, we are talking about impressing a person who is going through 500 CVs at a single time, probably. So when you say that, okay, there are 500 applicants to a position, how does he look at your application and try to make it stand out? And how do you make it kind of stand out of these 500 applications? So that important point, that crisp, is that you need to make sure that you have only a single page and not more than a single page of CV. You try to put it, no matter how many years of experience you have, you try to put it in a single page, as concise as possible, not trying to emphasize on every single project that you have done, rather than that the most important projects that you have done. When you put like 20-30 points, I don't know, maybe a lot of things you're trying to put into single thing, that's really confusing sometimes. So I'd rather suggest to put very precise what's important into a single page. And people who are probably having more than 10 years of experience, yeah, I think maybe having two-page CV plus a role, but having more than 2 pages just is an overkill in some cases. And other than that, a cover letter is really important. So just make sure that you have a really good cover letter which says what is the reason that you're coming and probably trying to work in this company. And many other reasons about how you started your journey, what kind of difficulties did you undergo in order to work for this company, and what made you actually work for this company. So when you try to really put it into a really good structure, then you can form a good cover letter. So make sure you have a single cover letter, and don't keep changing it from company to company. Sometimes it's really difficult to have when you're doing, for maybe let's say you do 100 applications and you're doing that, then it's probably difficult. So that's one thing. Another important thing is that you are supposed to apply for a lot of companies. And in Germany especially, the problem is that you do not get interview calls. I'm sorry, but the problem is that when you probably try for 100 companies, 200 companies, you might get maybe 6 or 7 interview calls, and out of that, you just get 1 or 2 selections. That is the hard truth of the applications. Maybe with the experience, it gets better and better as you are maybe working in many companies in Europe. Then probably your salary package as well as the number of companies, they just keep getting better and better. But in the initial stages, just to cut through this shortage mechanism, it's just really hard. Another important point is that you guys try to gather as many certifications as possible. If you guys have good certifications, like maybe I have a skill from Udemy, or probably I crack Kubernetes certified administrator, or AWS DevOps engineer certification, or Azure certification. So any kind of a certification just gives you in a position of advantage, that you are able to actually prove your skills to the recruiter, so that he'll select you easily. And the other thing is that it's important to trust yourself and market yourself. No matter what happens, it's important that you keep your LinkedIn and Sync profiles on the top of its page. So when you try to open your LinkedIn profile or a Xing profile, you're supposed to try to make as many connections as possible and try to keep it as good as possible in the most best way possible, so that you can try to attract as many recruiters as possible. So when you do that, there will be probably 30 recruiters writing you if you really have a very good LinkedIn and Xing profile. Last but not the least, it's also important to make sure that you prepare for your interview or Vorstellungsgespräch auf Deutsch, or in German, as they say. So it's important to really prepare your interviews in German. What does that mean? So that means you need to kind of reread all the computer science or whatever your branch of study is in German. All the textbooks that you are reading in English, probably your education is in English, then you kind of read everything in German, you try to re-prepare yourself, and then you kind of attend your interviews. And when you do that, it really eases you to the process of giving interviews. And also make sure to probably talk to yourself as much as possible in front of the mirror, and probably give interviews or mock interviews to yourself or to someone else, so that you know that you are in a good enough state to kind of give interviews in German. Remember, guys, that making connections also plays a really important role in the job taking process. So you try to contact as many recruiters or maybe head managers or managers of different companies by directly messaging them through LinkedIn or Xing, and then probably asking them for a open position, if there is any open position, or is there a way that maybe someone else that you know can recommend you to this position. So you kind of directly message as many people as possible in order to ask them to recommend you to this particular position, or to recommend you to their recruiter to get into the company as much as possible. So that's it, guys. Please subscribe to my channel and like for more videos. Thank you.